Hello everyone, good day. So I'm Miss Crystal Ann Balisi, and I'll be teaching you this subject, Fundamentals of Accounting, Business and Management. Okay, so for today we're going to discuss the Chapter 1, Introduction to Accounting. Okay, so again, Introduction to Accounting, Fundamentals of Accounting, Business and Management 1. Okay, so for today, at the end of all this discussion, we should be able to define accounting. Next one, we should be able to describe the nature of accounting. We should be able to explain the functions of accounting in business. And we should be able to narrate the history or origin of accounting. Okay, so at the end of all this discussion, dapat masasagutan na natin tong mga katanungan ito, no? Okay. So first, let us all define accounting. Actually, we can define accounting by our own words, no? Kung paano natin siya i-describe. But in all books, no, we have three main definition of accounting. So actually, according to kay Accounting Standards Council and then the Committee on Accounting Terminology of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, and then yung isa, the last one, American Accounting Association. So yon. Actually, through your journey sa accountancy, pag nag-college na kayo, itong three definition na to yung lagi nyong makikita. So dapat memorize nyo siya by heart, naiintindihan nyo siya by heart, para pagdating nyo ng mga higher years, pagdating nyo ng college, memorize nyo na siya. And then, pag narinig nyo siya, familiar na sa inyo. So dapat itong three definition na to, memorize nyo, no? Okay. So the first definition, according to AAA or the American Accounting Association, sa book nila na A Statement of Basic Accounting Theory, the definition of accounting is the process of identifying, measuring, and communicating economic information to permit informed judgments and decisions by users of information. Okay, so dito pa lang actually sa definition na to, matataka na natin actually buong accounting cycle eh. The identifying, measuring, communicating economic information to permit informed judgments. Okay, so later on we'll discuss these processes, no, the identifying, measuring, and communicating. Okay, so dapat ngayon pa lang memorize nyo na to. Okay, so the next one, the next definition according to Accounting Standards Council or the ASC. Ayan, so another one aside from AAA, meron pa tayong ASC, Accounting Standards Council. Yan, according sa Statement of Financial Accounting Standard number 1, sa basic concepts and accounting principle underlying financial statements of business enterprises, Manila, according sa Accounting Standards Council 1983, Par 1. The definition of accounting, it is a service activity to provide quantitative information, primarily financial in nature, about economic entities that is intended to be useful in making economic decisions. Okay, so yan, di ba sabi nga rin ng AAA, economic decisions, no? Parang nakikita natin siya kanina pa, economic decisions, information, Yan yung mga financial and economic. Ayan, so yan yung mga words na dapat i-familiarize natin. Okay? Yan. Again, it is a service activity to provide quantitative information, primarily financial in nature, about economic entities that is intended to be useful in making economic decisions. Okay, for the last one, yan, accounting is an information system that measures, processes, and communicate financial information about economic entities. So meron na naman tayong financial information and economic, tas may mga measures na naman, no? So this is according to the Statement of Financial Accounting Standard, number 1, basic concepts and accounting principles underlying financial statements of business enterprises. Yan, so Financial Standards Board. Okay. Yan. Actually, meron pa tayong pang-apat, no? Yan. Yung isa, yung kaninang itong is an information system. Yan. Ito yung pa-bonus, no? Pero yung isang pinaka-importante din, according to Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, ito yung pangatlong pinakamahalagang definition. Okay, so yung isa, bonus lang yun. And the third one, ito yung third one na dapat yung alalahanin according to Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Accounting, yan, sabi niya, the definition of accounting is an art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money transactions and events which are in part at least of a financial character and interpreting the results thereof. Okay, so ito yung pangatlong pinakamahalagang definition of accounting. Okay, so according to American Institute of Certified Public Accountants Review and Resume, Accounting Terminology Bulletin Number 1, New York AICPA 1953-49. Okay? So yan, ito yung mga dapat yung alalahaning definition. Okay, so before we proceed to the history of accounting and then yung nature of accounting, let's explain this further, no? Yung mga definitions na nakita natin. Okay, so the first one, ayan, is the process of identifying, measuring, and communicating economic information to permit informed judgment and decisions by user of information. Yan. So, meron tayong mga familiar words, no? Yan. For example, yung mga quantitative information, mga financial in nature, ayan, mga useful in decision making. Okay, so, yan. Naisulat nyo ba yung tatlong definition? Okay, so the important points made in these definitions are one, yung first, yung quantitative information. Yan, pwedeng economic information, quantitative information, halos magkakaparas lang yan. And then the number two, the information is likely to be financial in nature. Yan, basta pag economic and financial, yan, the same lang din yan. Okay, so quantitative information, and then the next one is the financial in nature. And the third one, the information should be useful in decision making. So, isa sa role or pinakamahalagang role ng accountants is to give information, no, na magiging useful sa decision making. Pwedeng decision making ng government, decision making ng mga employers or mga companies, kung mag-expand ba sila or magsasara na lang, no, or magli-liquidate. And also, no, mahalaga din itong information na to sa mga employees kasi magre-resign ba sila, maghahanap ba sila ng another work kung hindi naman nagpe-perform ng maayos ang company. So, itong mga informations na ibibigay ng mga accountants ay mahalaga, no? And dapat magagamit siya sa decision making. Okay, so we have those 3 points, no? Again, the quantitative information, the financial in nature, and then useful for decision making. Okay, so actually, accounting in an information system, ayan yung sa yung kaninang pa-bonus na definition, no? Actually, the accounting is an information system that measures business activities, process information into reports, and communicates the reports to decision makers. Ayan, so information system, no, when we say system, merong, yun nga sa Tagalog, no, meron silang sistema na sinusunod, no, na nagme-measure ng mga activities. And then, after i-measure, no, ipaprocess nila yung mga informations na to. And then, magkakaroon sila ng report or mag-create sila ng report through those transactions. And then, it will be reported to all decision makers. So, sa mga next text chapters, we will discuss the users of information. Sino nga ba yung mga nangangailangan ng mga reports na to, no? So, this can be for personal planning, education expenses, loans, car payments, income taxes, all use this information system called accounting. Okay, so kahit tayo, no, na estudyante, we still need accounting, especially sa mga nag-bayad ng tuition. Ayan, for example, meron tayong mga allowances, no? Paano ba natin siya magagamit ng tama, no? Paano natin siya mako-compute? So we need to use or we need to do accounting. Okay, so yan. The next one is the key product of this information system is a set of financial statements. Okay, so di ba after natin ma-identify yung mga transactions, ayan. So ano nga ba yung mga reports na pinoproduce ng mga accountants? So we have this set that is called financial statements. So later on, we will discuss each, no, kung ano yung mga financial statements. But to give you some few informations, itong mga financial statements na to, this can be the income statement, yan, the cash flow statement, and balance sheet, na kung saan natin nakikita yung asset, liabilities, and expenses. Yan, ayun yung mga examples ng mga financial statements na pinoproduce ng mga accountants. Yan. So these are these documents, no, that report financial information about an entity to decision makers. So ito yung mga chine-check ng mga decision makers natin. Na tayo bilang isang estudyante, we are also a decision maker. Yan. As long as nakakahawak tayo ng pera, meron tayong mga kinocompute na pera, meron tayong mga assets, yan. We can be the decision makers. And these reports tell us how well an entity is performing in terms of like profit and loss and where it stands in the financial terms, no? So, yun, makikita natin kung stable ba tong company na to. Yan, magkatagal ba sila sa industry? And next year kaya mag-ooperate sila ng maayos. So, yan, sa financial statements na to makikita natin yung future, no, or the current situation ng company. Yan. Okay, so yan. Okay, so going back, no, to our first definition. Yan, so we have here ayan, sabi nga ulit, no, identifying, alalahanin natin to, no, yung identifying, measuring, communicating, ayan, decisions, okay? So, we have here the processes, no? Actually, di lang dapat siya 3, eh. Actually, maraming processes sa accounting. But first, no, we have the identification or the identifying. So, when we say identification or identifying, this accounting process is the recognition or non-recognition of business activities as accountable events. So, di ba maraming nangyayari sa sa isang business, no? So, ano nga ba yung mga i-account natin or i-recognize natin? So, for example, may nag-resign na na employee, i-record ba natin siya? Ayun. For example, may na-promote, no? I-record ba natin siya? Kasama ba siya sa accounting process natin? So let's see, no? So not all business activities are accountable. So, hindi lahat ng nangyayari sa isang business ay dapat nire-record natin. So dito sa identification process or identifying process, dapat marunong na tayo mag-recognize at hindi mag-recognize ng mga business activities. So for example, no, the hiring of employees. Ayan, i-record ba natin siya? Ayan. The death of the entity president. Ayan, i-record ba natin siya? And the entering into a contract are all business activities, no? But such activities or such events are not accountable because they cannot be quantified and expressed in terms of a unit of measure. So ano nga ba yung unit of measure ng accounting? Ayun. So paano natin ba siya ma-measure? Kilometers ba? Meters? Centimeters? Ayan, kung paano tayo mag-measure. Ayan. So let's discuss, no? An event is accountable or quantifiable when it has an effect on assets, liabilities, and equity. So yon, ito yung isang ano natin, kumbaga isang criteria natin para masabi natin quantifiable siya. So in other words, the subject matter of accounting is economic activity or the measurement of economic resources and economic obligations. So only economic activities are emphasized and recognized in accounting. So yung mga sociological or yung mga physiological or yung mga psychological matters, ayan, hindi na yan kasama sa accounting, ha? Yan. So economic activities of an entity are referred to as transactions, yan, which may be classified as external or internal. So when we say external transactions or exchange transactions, ayan, again, meron tayong mga klase ng transactions, no, external and internal. So when we say external and or exchange transactions, yan, these are the economic events involving one entity and another entity. Okay, so for example, purchase of merchandise from a supplier, borrowing money from a bank, sale of merchandise to customer, and payment of salaries to employees are examples of external transactions. So ano naman yung mga internal transactions? Okay, so for example, yan, production and casualty loss. Yan. So, meaning, no, these are the economic events involving the entity only. So, walang outside, no? Walang outsider. So, yung mga nasa loob lang ng business. For example, nagpasweldo ka ng empleyado. Ayan. Internal transactions din yan. Okay? Yan. So, for example, yan, I guess the best example for this internal transaction is the production. Yan, mga production ng ng mga goods natin. So production is the process by which resources are transformed into products. Ayan. So kunyari, ang external transactions natin, nagkaroon tayo ng supply from other entity, yan yung tinatawag nating supplier, and then itong mga sinupply nilang raw materials, yan for for internal transactions, gagawin nilang product. Yan na tinatawag nating production. And another one is the casualty, is any sudden and anticipated loss from fire, flood, earthquake, and other event ordinarily termed as an act of God or yung tinatawag din nating fortuitous event. Yun. Okay, so paano nga rin ba natin masasabing quantifiable, no? Okay, so let's go to measuring. Okay? So yan, hindi naman siya nasama dito sa ano na to sa slide na to, no? Pero we have another one, measuring. Okay? So this accounting process is the assigning of peso amounts to the accountable economic transaction and events. So dapat yung mga ma-recognize or hindi natin i-recognize na transactions, yan, para ma-recognize natin siya as economic or events or transactions or business transactions, dapat na-assign natin siya ng amounts. So for the Philippines, we have this denomination na peso. Okay? So kunyari yung pagkamatay ng empleyado, di naman natin ma-applyan ng pesos yun, di ba? So ano-ano nga ba yung mga transactions na ma-applyan natin ng pesos? Yan. So for example, yan yung mga merchandise, nakaka-borrow ka ng money from the bank, nag-purchase ka ng merchandise from a supplier, yan, may production tayo. So nami-measure natin siya gamit ng peso or piso or Philippine peso sign, okay? Yan, para yan sa Philippines. Pero pag nasa US kayo, you should use dollar. So, depende sa country, no? Pero sa Pilipinas, we can use or we are going to use peso amount. Yan. So, if accounting information is to be useful, it must be expressed in terms of a common financial denominator. Okay? So, when we say financial denominator, ito yung mga pesos, dollars, ayan. So, another term, no? So, financial denominator. So, financial statements without monetary amounts would be largely unintelligible or incomprehensible. Hindi siya, kumbaga, hindi natin siya mai-interpret, no? Lalo na kunyari, iba-iba din yung sign, no? May dollars, may pesos. Paano natin to kunyari, hindi masyadong knowledgeable yung isang decision maker or di siya ganun kagaling sa math, no? Pag iba-iba yung mga sign natin, hindi natin siya agad-agad makikita kung stable ba yung isang business. Yan, kung ano na bang kalagayan niya, no? Kasi iba-iba yung amount eh. At wala ring peso sign. Walang amounts, no? So, paano natin siya may interpret? Dapat meron siyang monetary amounts or yung tinatawag na financial denominator. Dapat kung peso sign ang ginamit natin sa lahat ng financial statements natin, we should use financial statements. Okay? So, kunyari, pero kung mag-expand tayo, tapos meron tayong mga investor na mga Americans, ayan, we can express it into dollars, no? Ayan, i-convert lang natin. Okay? So, the Philippine peso is the unit of measuring accountable economic transactions. So, sa pag nasa Pilipinas tayo, at Pilipino naman ng investor natin, we should use Philippine pesos. Okay? So, the measurement basis are historical cost, current cost, yan, realizable value, and present value. Okay? So, when we say historical cost is the most common measure of financial transaction. Pag sinabi kasi natin historical cost, for example, bumili tayo ng when we say bumili tayo ng cellphone, ayan, ang dapat nating i-record ay kung magkano yung nabili, kung magkano siya na nabili natin. Okay? So for example, that time nabili natin siya ng 10,000, yun dapat yung i-record natin. Tapos nalaman natin next month, bumaba yung presyo niya, hindi naman dapat natin gawin yun, no? So kung magkano natin siya nabili, ayun dapat yung i-record natin. Okay? Yan. So yung measurement na yun, part na rin yun ng recording. Okay? Yung pag-a-apply ng measurement, pag-a-apply ng peso sign, part siya ng recording. Okay, good. Okay, the next one, the communication process or the communicating. And when we say communicating, it is the process of preparing and distributing accounting reports to potential users of accounting information. So for example, yan, na-record na natin Na-applyan na natin ng peso sign, na-arrange na natin siya, na-compute na natin siya, na-measure na. Yan, na-record na natin siya, na-classify, and na-summarize. And then, that's we're going to communicate those reports to interpreters, no, or decision makers. Okay, so yung tinatawag din nating potential users of accounting information. And so identifying and measuring are pointless if the information contained in the accounting records cannot be communicated in some form of to potential users, like for example, yung mga investors, owners, managers, creditors, and other interested parties. And actually, it is for this reason that accounting has been called the universal language of business. So again, accounting is the universal language of business. Yan. Yan, yung mga informations din na yan ng mga accounting reports, universal language of business. Implicit in the communication process are the recording, classifying, and summarizing. Yan. So under ng recording, no? Yan. Meron tayong recording, classifying, and summarizing. Yan. Bago tayo pumunta sa communication process. Okay, so going back to recording, no? Ano nga ba yung recording? Recording, yan, another word for recording is journalizing, no? Journalizing. Yan. When we say recording, it is the process of systematically maintaining a record of all economic business transactions after they have been identified and measured. Okay, so ayun, kunyari na-identify na natin yung mga business transactions na dapat nating i-record lang, no? So, yun nga, again, hindi lahat ng business transactions dapat nire-record. Yun. So, after natin ma-identify yung mga transactions lang na kailangan natin, yan, or yung mga transactions na dapat lang natin ina-account, then pupunta tayo sa recording, no? So, while recording yan, mini-measure din natin siya. Like, applying peso sign, kung magkano ba siya, i-recognize natin. Ayan. Okay, so next is the classifying, no? Kung asset ba siya, liabilities, expense, income, or equities. Ayan, so yun, part ng classifying, yung ika-classify natin siya, no? Kung anong ba siya, anong account ba siya. Kung considered ba siya as cash, accounts payable, ayan, or income. Yan. So later on yun, i-discuss natin yun kung ano ba yung mga accounts na yun. Okay, so when we say again, no, classifying is the sorting or grouping of similar and interrelated economic transactions into respective classes. Okay, so syempre, ayan, ang pinakagamit na account title, no, sa accounting ay cash. Yan. So lahat ng transactions involving cash, we can consolidate those, no? Ayan. So yun, i-consolidate natin yung mga pare-parehas yung mga transactions para ma-compute natin. Okay, so for example, no, all transactions involving the sale of merchandise can be grouped into one total sales figure. Okay, and all transactions involving cash can be grouped to report a single net cash figure. So actually, classifying is accomplished by posting to the ledger. And so later on sa mga next chapters pa natin, i-discuss yung mga types of books. Yan, isa dyan yung mga ledgers. Yan, so just a few information, no? Ledger is a group of accounts which are systematically categorized into asset accounts, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expense. Okay, so later on yun, i-discuss din natin yun isa-isa na. Yung isa-isang yun. Like yung mga asset, liability, expense, revenue, equity. Yan. So the next one, no, after ng classifying, we should summarize. Yan. And it is the preparation of financial statements. So bago natin i-communicate, no, isa-summarize muna. Yan. Preparation of financial statements which include the statement of financial position, income statement, statement of comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, and cash flow. Actually, meron pang notes to financial statement. Yun. So later on, i-discuss din natin isa-isa yun. Okay? Yan. And then, we're going to communicate those reports to users. Yan. So they will analyze and interpret kung magde-decide na ba silang mag-expand. Yan, isara ang business. Kailangan na ba nilang mangutang sa bangko para masagip yung business nila? So yun. So after communicating, dapat ma-interpret siya. Okay? So ayan, yung identification and recording, pointless siya kung hindi naman natin nako-communicate itong accounting report. So after natin i-identify yung mga economic events, tapos i-record, i-classify, hindi naman natin ipoprovide to sa mga users. So, wala din, di ba? Sayang ating paghihirap. Okay? So, dapat yung accounting reports natin, ma-communicate natin siya. Okay, so okay na ba? Ayan. So again, yung 3 main definition, dapat maging familiar na kayo doon. Ayan. I-memorize nyo yan. Kasi ayan, consistent yan na lumalabas sa mga exams. Yan, kahit nasa higher year na kayo. Okay, so later na natin itong i-discuss itong history of accounting. Okay, so going back, after the definition of accounting, we should discuss also the nature of accounting. Okay, so let's start. So the nature of accounting has been defined in so many ways. So basically, it is a service to account for economic activities and events that has value. It is expressed in monetary terms. Okay? So ano nga ba yung monetary terms ng sa Pilipinas? Siyempre yung pesos. Okay? So in other words, the financial denominator. Okay, so let's see how accounting has evolved from the scriptures in case to what it is now using new technologies. Okay, so it says here, it started as a science. So in the history of men, where mankind had relied on their special skills and natural-born intelligence, accounting was simply invented by them in a way that they could understand it. So they had formulated means on how to record their activities. So later sa history of accounting, we'll see kung paano ba nag-evolve tong accounting. Ba't ba siya nauso? Ba't ba siya na-invento? And kung paano sila nagre-record dati. Okay? So I believe, that when we began to exist, each of us possess unique skills and intelligence different from one another. So we are all unique. Meron tayong kanya-kanyang intelligence, may kanya-kanya tayong skills na unique from one another. Okay, one has the skills of a scientist. Yan, yung iba entrepreneur, yung iba naman manager, yung iba naman mathematician, yung iba naman speaker. So these skills would normally come out naturally, and these were used in the olden times as science. Yan. So accounting, was simply invented by mankind. So bakit nga ba tinatawag na science ang accounting? Okay, so when we say science kasi, it has a system. So yun, kaya ang accounting ay science dahil ang science ay may mga system, no? Study of systems. Yan. Or science is a system. So meron nga tayong mga nervous system, di ba? Meron tayong um, reproductive system. Yan. Merong mga sistema yan, no? Sa science. So ang accounting, isa rin siyang science. It's because merong sistema ang accounting. So yung una, no? We have already discussed na merong sistemang sinusunod ng accounting. So for example, yung identifying, classifying, recording, summarizing, communicating. Ayan. So ayan yung system ng accounting. That is why it is also called as science. Okay? And the next one, it was defined as an art. The art is on the recording aspect, classifying, summarizing, and interpreting. Okay, di ba sa art, ganun din naman? Ayan, so di ba una, para makagawa tayo ng isang art, tawag dito, mag-concentrate muna tayo, mag-iisip kung ano ba yung art na gusto nating i-produce. Ayan, so dapat hindi ka lang naman basta gagawa ng art, no? Yung art, kaya yan ginawa kasi merong mga magi-interpret niyan. Okay, merong dapat maka-appreciate niyan. Okay, so ano ba yung sinasabi ng art na to? No? Yan, kahit abstract pa yan, 'di ba? Merong message na gusto yang ibigay. So sa accounting, ayan, meron din ganung system, no? Yan, magre-record tayo, magka-classify, i-summarize natin, and dapat na-interpret yun. Okay, so man is a natural-born artist. In this way, art has been applied to accounting more effectively. Okay, so yun, gumagawa tayo ng mga accounting reports and for it to be interpreted. Okay? Ayan. The next one, accounting is a discipline. Okay? This is because accountancy became a profession. Okay, so yon from time to time, as time goes by, hanggang sa naging profession na yung accountancy. That's why we have the accountants. Yan, so, yan, this is because accountancy became a profession and the practice of it is governed by set of rules. Merong mga accounting standards, mga business ethics. Ayan, that's why sa mga higher year, we should study the Code of Ethical Standards. Actually, yung mga lawyers din, meron din silang mga ethics na sinusunod. As well as yung accountancy, yung mga doctors, yan, meron din silang mga ethics na sinusunod. Kaya siya naging discipline. So in this era of millennium, accounting has become an information system. So aside from art, science, and discipline, information system din siya. So yun, di ba kanina sa isang definition natin, sinabi doon na ang accounting is an information system. Okay, so accounting has become an information system. Yan, whether it is a manual system or a computerized system. So dati, ayan, actually nung wala pang computer, manual talaga ginagawa yung accounting, no? Pero nowadays, meron pa rin naman gumagawa ng mga manual, especially yung mga smaller businesses, like mga sole proprietorship or single business, nagmamanual pa rin sila, no? So for example, yung mga pagsusulat ng mga transactions sa books, or yung tinatawag natin journalizing, no? So, manual pa nilang sinusulat yan sa books nila. Pero pag mga malalaking company na, and for example, mga San Miguel Corporation, Jollibee, SM, yan, mga computerized na yan, no? Pero bago ka pumasok kasi sa mga computerized system, dapat merong permit, no? Or meron silang permit sa government or dun sa kung ano mang government yung may hawak nun para pwede silang mag-computerized system. And ino-audit din naman siya. Yan. So accounting is a whole information system. Okay? So this information system accepts not only financial data or transactions, but also non-financial transactions. In this way, information generated would only not pertain to the monetary activities, but also on activities surrounding the financial transactions, which are also essential in decision making, like the quantities of goods being sold or purchased yan. So, yan, set aside natin yung journalizing, no? Yan. So, part din ng accounting, pero hindi siya kasama sa accounting reports, pero part lang siya ng pag-audit. Ayan, and monitoring ng business natin ay yung pagbibilang ng mga goods. So, ito yung mga nasa mga nasa tawag doon, ano bang yun? Mga factories. Ayan. A warehouse, yan, sa warehouse. Ayan, yung mga nag-o-audit ng mga goods, binibilang nila kunwari at the end of business day, bibilangan nila kung ilang for example sa Jollibee, bibilangan nila kung ilang patty ba yung natira, ilang patty yung nabenta nila. Ayan, so kasama rin yan sa mga minomonitor nila. So meron tayong accounting information system or information system na na kung saan natin nare-record yun, no? Ayun. So, yun. For example nga, yung mga quantities of goods being sold or purchased or yung mga natira for that day. Ayan, mga customers' informations and details. Ayan, yung mga payroll transactions. Ayan. So, itong mga details na to, nakalagay pa rin naman siya sa information system. Though, hindi naman siya talaga sinasama sa mga accounting reports. Pero, kailangan pa rin naman siya sa decision making. Okay? Yan. So, we have the following functions of accounting. Actually, yan, going back lang din to sa definition of accounting. Okay, so we have first, the identifying and analyzing. Yan, identifying and analyzing. Yan, halos magkapatid yan. Identifying and analyzing source documents which enter into information system. So these are activities that are relevant to the business operations. So the business activities are normally transactions and events in a source document that transpired in its day-to-day activities. These transactions are called inputs, which are processed into the information system and generated as financial and management reports. So the next one naman is the recording the source documents, which are economic activities, into the books of accounts of the organization. The function of recording is called bookkeeping. Yan. So we have accounting and also we have the bookkeeping. And when we say bookkeeping, it is described as the recording of financial transactions that are appropriately classified in the accounting books of an organization by either manual means or computerized means. So, yan, pag hindi natin na-communicate yung mga informations at hindi natin siya na-communicate to be interpreted by the users, yan, bookkeeping lang ang tawag doon. Pero pag itong mga na-record natin, na-classify natin, na-summarize natin reports, na-communicate natin siya or na-provide natin siya sa mga users, for example, mga investors, yan, that is called accounting. Okay? Yun yung difference between accounting and bookkeeping. The next one is the third is preparing the financial and management reports. So the financial reports, for example, again, the statement of financial position or the balance sheet where we see the assets, liabilities, and equities. Okay, the next one is the statement and income. Yan. We'll see here the sales, income, the revenue, and the expenses. Magkano ba yung kinita natin for this month or for this quarter? The third one is the statement of cash flow. So, ayan, dito natin makikita kung ano ba yung cash na dapat mag-reflect sa financial position. And dito din natin makikita kung paano ba nagamit yung cash, paano pumasok ang cash sa ating business. Ayan, so dito magre-reflect yun. Statement of changes in equity. Ayan, yung mga capital ng mga owners. Dito makikita yon, okay? And actually, meron pang notes to financial. Pero halos corporation lang yung gumagamit nun. Okay? Okay. For the last one, analyzing, interpreting the financial reports for different users who have interest in the business and who will use this in their decision making. Okay, so dapat after natin ma-summarize or ma-produce ng accounting reports, ma-provide talaga natin siya sa mga users. And i-analyze nila to and i-interpret para magkaroon sila ng final decision or magkaroon sila ng decision making para sa business nila.